Hey, what's up everyone? This is Joseph with the Cardinal Rule with another TCR quick hit. One of the storylines in training camp so far has been the question of, will Byron Murphy Jr. be a slot cornerback or an outside cornerback? Last year he was primarily a slot cornerback and played pretty well in that role, and a lot of people thought that's where he would continue this year. But there have been reports that Vance Joseph sees him as the number one cornerback and that he's going to play him some on the outside. So the question remains, is he an outside cornerback or a slot cornerback? And the shortest answer to that is yes. But that's not a very informative answer, and it's a little bit flippant. So what I wanted to do with this video is talk a little bit more about what I think that's going to look like in terms of Byron Murphy Jr. being both an outside cornerback and a slot cornerback. So when you look at the 3-4 defense, the base defense that the Cardinals run, that typically has a nose tackle, a defensive end, and a defensive tackle, or two defensive ends if you want to call them both that. And then you have your outside linebackers that are your pass rushers, your inside linebackers, two cornerbacks, two safeties. And you see here I've shown you a graphic that has the players that at this point at least look like they might end up being the starters. There's a few question marks, particularly when we talk about Jordan Phillips versus someone like Zach Allen. But at this point in time, this is probably what that starting lineup looks like in that 3-4 defense. And I have Byron Murphy here as an outside cornerback because there's not a slot cornerback here. And I think that Vance Joseph intends to have Byron Murphy on the field for these 3-4 looks, along with probably Malcolm Butler, unless Robert Alford, outplays Butler. But I think when they are in this 3-4 alignment, I think Murphy is going to be on the field, and he's going to be that outside cornerback. But in the modern NFL, with so many 3 wide receiver sets and so many tight ends that are really athletic, a lot of teams, their base defense is actually more of a nickel defense. So in this graphic, I'm showing you what that nickel defense probably looks like. J.J. Watt and Jordan Phillips are now defensive tackle, defensive end, kind of those interior defensive linemen. Golden and Jones are still the pass rushers. Really, in many ways, this defensive line ends up looking like a 4-3 front, when really it's more like, I guess you could call it a 4-2 because you've got the two middle linebackers there. But then you have the safeties, the cornerbacks on the outside, and then the slot cornerback. And I think when they go to this nickel look, Byron Murphy is going to slide over to that slot cornerback position, and Robert Alford is going to play on the outside because Alford is more of an outside corner. He, when you look at his snaps throughout his career, has not played much in the slot. He's played primarily outside, whereas Byron Murphy can play slot and outside. So this is how I think they're going to do things with Byron Murphy Jr. I think he is going to be on the field for just about every down on defense. He's going to play on the outside cornerback position when they are in a 3-4 look. But then when they move that nickel and they bring that third cornerback on, he's going to slide in that slot position, and they'll probably have Alford, or potentially if someone beats out Alford or Butler, for that cornerback position, someone else out there. If you look closely at these graphics, you might also notice I switched the safeties. I did that primarily because Pro Football Focus, on their page where they show the defensive alignments for the team, in the base 3-4, they had Buddha as the strong safety, Jalen as the free safety, and then in their nickel look, they have Jalen Thompson as the strong safety, Buddha Baker as a free safety. I think that probably has something to do with the idea that you want to have your better coverage safety on the side that doesn't have the slot corner when you're in the nickel, whereas your safety, who might not be as much of the coverage safety, is on the side with the slot corner because you have more help on that side. That's just my best guess, and I think they probably perceive that Thompson is more of a coverage safety, where Buddha is more of that playmaker against the run and so on and so forth, though Buddha Baker grades about as well as Jalen Thompson in terms of coverage. Anyway, the main thing I wanted to talk about, though, was that cornerback rotation, what I think they're going to do with that, and how I think Byron Murphy is going to be used as, again, that outside cornerback in the 3-4 looks, and then the slot cornerback when they get into that nickel look. So how do you think they're going to use him? Do you think I'm right about this, or do you think I'm missing something? Maybe you were at training camp, you saw them using him and rotating him in a different way. Let me know in the comments below, and please be sure to click like, and if you aren't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on The Cardinal Rule.